Okay, this is the new BMW i4 eDrive 40, and this is the Tesla Model 3. Both of these cars are all electric, and I thought it would be a good idea to review the BMW i4 by comparing it to the Tesla Model 3. Now, we've had the i4 on loan by BMW for a few weeks now, and I've been driving it most days, and the Tesla, well, this is our car, we own this, we bought it after our accountant told us about all the tax breaks that you get when you own an all-electric car. So the question is, what one do I prefer? Do I prefer the BMW or do I prefer the Tesla? It turns out that's actually not a simple question to answer. On paper, they're fairly similar, but there is actually a massive difference between these cars. You see, the Tesla is, it's an electric car, and the BMW, well, that's a car that's electric, and these semantics are really important when you're comparing these two cars, and I'll explain why.
But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit more about the BMW i4 M40. Rated 5-star by What Car, the M40 is an all-electric, rear-wheel drive powered by one electric motor. Its sibling, the M50 model, has 2 electric motors and is a 4-wheel drive, meaning the M50 version may be faster than this M40 model, but that also means that it's slightly heavier and less battery efficient. In terms of price, for this M40 model, you can pick it up for just under $52,000. So let's take a look at what you get for that.
So from the front, you've got that typical kind of BMW self-assured, slightly sinister look, and there's only actually a few subtle references to the fact that it's an electric. Well, firstly, you've got this kind of blue trim that goes around the logo here, and you've got this little bit of green that all electric cars have on the number plates now, and you've got this little I that stands for iLetric. And then if we move around the sides, some massive 19-inch alloy wheels with these really nice red brake calipers poking their heads through, gives it a really nice sporty look. And then to complement that, this huge hockey stick style black trim down here on the side, and you've got these door handles which are flush, keeps it looking nice and sleek and elegant. And if we move around the back, thanks to the hatchback design, it has a huge 470 litres of boot space with the rear seats in place. You've put those rear seats down, you've got a 1,290 litres of space. Looking at the back of the car, it just looks like a standard 4 Series Grand Coupe, not much different. I love these rear diffusers with these fins at the back here, make it look really nice. Oh, how did I do that? Didn't know you did that. That's awesome. How did I do it? Don't know. Oh, there you go. Pretty cool. Yeah, looks like a BMW should look.
Full disclosure, BMW are working with my wife over on her Instagram, which is why we have this car on loan. But this video isn't any part of that campaign, it's a totally impartial review. The reason I made the video is because in the few weeks we've had the i4, I've had a ton of people ask me about it, so I figured while we had it sitting outside, this would be a perfect excuse to make my first car review video. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, please consider subscribing to the channel for more gadget, car, NFT and tech reviews.
Within the first couple of weeks, you just forget the fact it's an electric car. And I think that is because BMW didn't really want to make just an electric car. They wanted to make a BMW that was powered by electricity. And that's how it feels when you drive it, because all the driving dynamics make it feel just like you're driving a BMW car. It looks like a BMW car. It sounds like a BMW car. It responds like one. It's essentially a BMW car that just happens to be electric, as opposed to say like the Tesla, which wants everybody to know that it's an electric car. A Tesla's a bit like somebody who's 3 weeks into a vegan diet. They just want everybody to know about the fact that they're a vegan now. Whereas the BMW, it doesn't feel the need to bang on about it. It doesn't think it's a big deal, so it's just more subtle about it. And that's what I like about this car, is it may be electric, but it doesn't feel or look like one. So you've got 3 different driving modes. You've got eco, comfortable, and sport. I leave it in sport usually because I've got low self-esteem. But you can customize all of those as well. So you can change the dampening and the responsiveness of the steering on each one of those modes. So it's fully customizable.
also love how there's literally zero engine noise from the i4, which if I was to hazard a guess would be a lot to do with the fact that there's no engine. And having no engine also means it's incredibly cheap to maintain, as there are hardly any moving parts that need to be replaced. You also save on fuel costs, which are an all-time high.
On our tariff, to charge this from 0 to a full tank, is it a tank? Full battery, I guess, is about £7, I'd say.
There's also no congestion charge and a discount on your permit parking, and tax is far cheaper too. And if you buy the car through your business, then you only pay a 1% benefit in kind tax.
So the thing about owning an electric car is the longer you own it, the more you save. It may cost slightly more than a standard combustion engine car, but the savings over a couple of years start to eke away the extra money that you spent on buying an electric car, and you're going to save a couple of penguins as well. So who doesn't want to save a penguin or two? It has something that the Tesla doesn't, something that I consider to be more important in a car's manufacturing process than the brakes or the steering wheel. So with this BMW, it instantly wirelessly connects to my phone, and my Apple menu is displayed on this huge curved screen. For some unknown reason, the Tesla doesn't support Apple CarPlay. It gives you essentially a massive iPad in your car, but it won't let you put anything from Apple on it. Tesla do, however, offer you a premium connectivity service, which costs £9.99 a month, which basically lets you get to Spotify and use their karaoke system. It's such an important feature to have. I can't believe Tesla don't give you Apple CarPlay. It makes me feel physically sick that they don't. There is electronic stability control in the i4, which will correct you if the back ever slightly swings out in any direction. And I've had that step in a couple of times when I'm driving. You can turn it off, but when you put your foot down in the i4, that rear wheel drive, it is very torquey, so you can, it does move, it does shift. So I like to leave it on. It's a nice little safety feature that's definitely staying on.
You can operate the central display using a rotary controller between the seats, which is much less distracting on the move than a touch-only interface. There's also a voice command, which works well if you'd rather just tell your BMW what to do.
It's got some really nice harmonics as well. So when you turn it on, firstly it has a kind of this harmonic swell. And then when you put your foot down, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like really nice.
So it turns out that this harmonic sound that I just perfectly demonstrated is composed by none other than German film score composer Hans Zimmer. He's the guy that scored films like Dune and Interstellar and Inception and The Dark Knight and Blade Runner, to name a few. Personally speaking, I would love the ability to boost the volume of the harmonic so it's a little bit louder because, well, I find it rather beautiful.
I've had so many people ask me about it since we've had it, but nobody really tends to know until I tell them that it's all electric. They think it may be a hybrid, or they just think it's a newer BMW model. Nobody really knows it's electric. And like I said, I really do think that there was a very informed decision from the start of the manufacturing process that they weren't going to make reinvent the wheel with BMW. They weren't going to make something that their customers couldn't identify with. They wanted their customers to feel like they were just driving a BMW. So it's got this nice big chunky steering wheel here. Obviously you've got that big LCD screen. What I really like about the windscreen wipers is that they've hidden the jet wash, the thing that squirts the water out, inside the windscreen wipers. I wasn't sure what sorcery was going on at first, because suddenly the windscreen wipers were getting white and I couldn't see where the water was coming from, and they've embedded them in the windscreen wipers. Weirdly as well, the windscreen wipers are completely silent, like you cannot hear them at all, which, if I'm honest, I kind of miss that cathartic sound of a windscreen wiper. There's cameras everywhere, all around the car. So many cameras that they've even made it look as if there's a camera floating above your car, looking down when you're reverse parking, which is, well, it makes parking so simple. Okay, you've waited long enough. It's time for me to answer that question. What car do I prefer? Do I prefer my Tesla or do I prefer the BMW? Do I prefer the electric car or do I prefer the car that's electric? Now they may look the same and they may sound the same, but they are completely different to drive. And personally speaking, that for me is the most important part of a car, how it feels to drive. And because of that, I'm gonna go with the BMW i4. Because yeah, it's just more fun to drive. And I've had both cars now for several weeks, and when I leave the house, it's the BMW that I'm always taking out. So yeah, it's the BMW. Anyway, that's my review of the BMW i4 M40, because you know what? I fucking love this car. Am I right? Oh God, I hate myself.